as we discussed, let's say testng.xml file. So in the testng.xml file, we can like define. Okay, so let me just show a couple of things today. Okay, so we have different thing. Okay, so first is a shoot. Okay, so we have this hierarchy. Okay, so shoot. Okay, under shoot you have test. Under test you have classes, and there could be multiple class. Okay, under one test you have multiple class. Another test, multiple classes. So, and then under classes you have methods. So this method, so each method is considered as one test case. Okay, each method you are declaring as at the test, right? So that is considered as one test case. So we have this hierarchy. Okay, shoot, test, class, method. So what TestNG is going to help us, that we need to organize the test cases, that okay, how many test cases we want to run and how. Okay, let's say we have 10,000 test cases in our application. So I want to run 1,000 test cases at a time. So we will select 10 test cases from class number 1. Let's say we have, let's say in our application, calculator test.java, then employee test.java, okay, a person test.java, home loan test.java, auto loan test.java. So these are different test cases. And in all the classes, you have written all the test cases with respect to that module. Okay, so now if you want to write, if you want to execute out of, let's say 10,000 test cases, you want to execute only 1,000 test cases. And that you can achieve using TestNG, testng.xml in particular. So in testng.xml file, if you look at this example, let's say if this XML file, so you are going to, let's say shoot is the top level. Then test is the second level. Then class. Okay, and under class, there is another method level also. So what is method level? Okay, so these are one test case is one method. Okay, so one method is one test case. So now if you see here under the class, you can define the method also. So this granular level you can achieve. So now what we are going to understand the different annotations that will help you out to define that, okay, you can exclude or include, enable, disable, all different kind of test cases. You can create a group of the test cases, let's say regression test pack or a smoke test pack. So you are going to create a different kind of test cases you can group together, and you can have multiple testng.xml file. Let's say testng underscore regression.xml, testng underscore smoke underscore xml.xml. So you can have multiple testng files. In this, you are going to use different configurations, and then you can run the test cases according to your requirement. So ultimately, what is TestNG in simple language? How and when you want to run how many test cases. So you are just choosing, pick and choose, that I want to run 10 test cases as a part of this particular run. Let's just take an example. What is the real-time scenario? That let's say in your a company, let's say there are different modules, but the code has been changed, very minimum, only one line of code has been changed. And then you are giving a fix to the client. Then you don't need to run 10,000 test cases in your application. Otherwise, it's a waste of time. Let's say you're going to run the test cases for 3 days or 2 days, but it's useless. So we define the scope as a tester. We need to define the impact of the change. And then based on that, we have to decide, okay, I want to run only 10 test cases out of 10,000 test cases, and I'm okay. And that's what basically TestNG is giving you the facility. So now here, there are different annotations, okay, and different configurations. So let's go one by one. So there is a exclude, include. So if you're going to do, let's say, exclude and include. So let's say at the rate test, and there are parameters. Okay, so in this parameter, let's say you're going to do enable false. That means this test case will not run. Okay, so while you are running all the test cases, you are going to run from this class. This test case will exclude. Okay, and the same thing you can achieve 2 ways. In the XML also you can achieve. So in the XML, you can select shoot, test, class, and then under class there is a method. Okay, so this is another test. Okay, so this is one test, this is another test. Under shoot, you are putting one test. Under test, you can have multiple classes. So in your application, you have the test cases. The code might be written in multiple classes. Against each class, you have multiple test case classes. Okay, because you're not going to combine the test cases of other class to another class. That's a logical dividation you have to do. Okay, and then in that case, you're going to put, let's say, different, let's say method level. Okay, so let's say exclude name. I don't want to run this test case. Make sure that this naming convention is not good. Okay, method name always start with a small letter. In Java T-point, they are not following the naming convention. So we need to make sure that we maintain the proper naming convention. The test case name has to start with a small letter. It's a method. Okay, so that's a method level exclude. You're doing exclude here. Now, let's see, look at one by one quickly all the annotations. Okay, so running the test case with the pattern. So pattern means, let's say you have so many test cases. Okay, let's say web login, mobile. So let's say nowadays everything has a web and mobile. So your application is running on the web as well as in the mobile. So let's say I want to run all the test cases with the mobile application. Then if you have given proper naming convention, then only you can do it. Okay, if you are not following the naming convention, you cannot do it. So now in this case, you can see, okay, I want to include all the test cases in the method. I want to run all the test cases which start with mobile. That's it. So this is dot star. Dot star means after first word is mobile. After that, anything could be there. Okay, so those all test cases will run. So this is called the pattern. Then groups. Okay, so let's say I want to define a group of test cases. As I mentioned that I want to run only 10 test cases, or let's say some of the test cases I'm defining, let's say high level functionality, major functionality. So that I can say, okay, that will be part of, let's say, mock test case as well as the regression test pack. So what is a mock test? It's just only few test cases you are running, and then you say, okay, we are ready to go. And then this particular test case might be part of multiple groups. Okay, you define, let's say, test and groups equal to, and then this mock test, you can comma separated, you can define multiple test cases here, multiple groups here. So here you can define group at two levels. One is the shoot level and second is the test level. So let's see shoot level. This is shoot. And then you define a group. Okay, you say, okay, out of in this shoot, I want to run the test case only mock test, which is part of the mock test. So when you run this TestNG, right click and run as TestNG.xml file, then it will run only those test cases which comes under this group. It will exclude all other test cases. So this is a shoot level. And if you want to do the same thing at the test case level, okay, test level, not the test. So this is inside test. You see inside test, there's a groups, and then you run, okay, and then include, okay, run, include. This is a group. Okay, so you do it inside test, not inside shoot. Inside shoot, but inside shoot, especially inside particular test. Okay, earlier it was outside test. It's a shoot level. So there are two ways you can manage the group, test level as well as the shoot level. Okay, so and there are annotations. Okay, so what are the different annotations? So if you are clear about the JUnit, okay, in JUnit basically there were test cases, there were annotations after, before, but TestNG is giving you more annotations and more facilities and functionalities and features. And TestNG and JUnit are both the competitors, both are same, but ultimately this TestNG is giving you the more flexibility, and that's why it is more popular nowadays. So before shoot, okay, there are before shoot and after shoot. So let's say while you are writing the test cases, you want to load some test data before you are running any test case in the shoot. So again, now if you understand the hierarchy, whatever I explained, shoot, test, class, and method, then now and group, those 5 things. Then before, after, just add before, after, before shoot, after shoot, before test, before class, after class, right? Before method, after method, before group, after method, before group, after group. Okay, so let's say if you want to load some data from the file system, we already did the file reading writing example, right? So if you want to load some data based on before shoot, so you can write. So if you run this code, then you will see like this will execute first. Okay, if you have 10,000 test cases in different classes, you have for the test cases, but this will execute first before shoot. After shoot, after completion, everything in the shoot, it will call the after shoot. Then after shoot, okay, so after shoot at the right annotations, and then it will run after shoot. Then before test, okay, before test, after test. So we see what is test. Okay, before you run the test, under test there could be multiple class. Okay, there could be multiple test cases. So particular test, let's say personal loan example, test cases for personal loan. Then you want to load the data somewhere in this method that which is only specific to the test cases which you require to run the test cases for the personal loan. For the home loan, before that you want to load the data which is required for the home loan. then you can basically write that logic here before and after test. Then class, before class, after class. So in a particular class, okay, so you can have these after test. Okay, so then class level. So before class and after class. So you can just write down system.out.println and put all the methods in only one test case. You can put everything, okay, and then just test it out. At which particular level, at which particular time you get the control here. Okay, and same way before and after group. Okay, so you can see like I don't know, this is group. Okay, let's see. Oh, these after class, and finally is after and before group. Okay, this is before after method. Okay, so before after method means before each test case you want to execute something, but this is very granular level. Okay, before method, before each test case you want to execute something, and after each test case.
Yeah.
So this is very granular level. So these all are annotations. It's very important for us. Then annotation attributes. Okay, so annotation attributes are we already learned a couple of attributes. Okay, let's say you can see here there are these attributes: description, timeout, priority, depends on, enable, groups. So description is basically you can select the test, and then in bracket you are giving, you can give multiple, okay, comma separated. Description is just you say, okay, what is this test case is all about? It's just a description. There is no use of this one, but it looks pretty well, okay, that you guys just giving this description that I'm writing this test case for to test this scenario. Then depends on. Okay, so now we need to understand a couple of things here. This is very important. By default in TestNG, all the test cases are executed in the alphabetical order. Alphabetical means if you write test case, okay, test public void A, public void B, methods, okay, let's say you define 5 methods, A, B, C, D. So it will first execute A, then B, C, D, okay. If you are any order, okay, it doesn't matter, but it will execute in the alphabetical order, the test case. But and on top of that, I have given the topic in the presentation. Okay, so those are the final set of topics we are going to do for the presentation. So in that one, there is multi-threading. So if you have 10,000 test cases in your application, so if you want to run the 10,000 test cases, that might take, let's say 2 hours or let's say 10 hours. Then nowadays time is very important. So if something is waiting like 10-15 hours, then it is very difficult for us to manage. So we need multi-threading. Multi-threading means in the test case, if you see like TestNG, there is there is a parameter called parallel, okay, parallel test or true or false, and thread count. Okay, so we are going to see what is threading. So what does it mean? That you can run the test case in parallel. Okay, so it might be possible multiple test cases are running at the same time.
It will save the time.
To save the time. Okay, so same like in the file. Okay, so if you want to read 10 files, so if one file is taking 10 minutes, if you want to read 10 files, it might take 100 minutes. Nobody has 100 minutes to wait. So you have to use multi-threading. Okay, in Java there is a topic called multi-threading. So there is a presentation topic. So it's parallel. For now, just imagine like this. If you define parallel is equal to true and you say okay thread count, so you need 5. 5 means at a time 5 test cases can run. Okay, so now in that scenario, if you have a case is that one output of one test case is required by another test case, then you have to make a dependencies between the test case, and at that time you are going to use depends on. Okay, so your test case, this test case is depends on this test case. So Java will at that time override the default order and make sure that first once it is this executed, then it will come here. So that's depends on. Second thing is priority. Okay, so if you see the priority, by default all the test cases is number 0 priority. But if you want to define, this is it's not a similar as depends on, but it will give you the order. If you want to do the order, not based on the name of the test case, but based on the priority. So let's say number 0 will execute 1. 0, or the number is lesser, then it will execute first. Then number 1. And then number 2, you see like ideally Apple should execute first, right? If you see the alphabetical order, but if you see the output, it's last. Why? Because 0 number test case is executed 1, okay, mango. So by default is mango. By default, all the test cases number priority 0. So mango is executed first, okay, then watermelon, then number 2 priority, apple. Okay, so priority is by default override the by default methodology of alphabetical order. Now, TestNG parameters. So this parameter topic is very, very important. I think Sagar has already explained you guys data providers. So what is the real-time use of the data provider? So let me cover it again because I know that this is very important. So let's understand what is data-driven framework. So in this world, now let's look at this example. You have add method in the calculator, and I want to test the add method with the 10 different scenarios. Okay, what does it mean 10 different scenarios?
Data.
10 different data sets. Okay, let's say 0 and 1. You pass, let's say 2 positive numbers, 2 negative numbers, 1 positive, 1 negative, 1 0, 1 positive, 1 0, 1 negative. Okay, so these are the different scenarios that you make sure that in all circumstances, it doesn't, user might put any data, but your add method will work fine, right? So that's called the scenario. And so you are going to write how many test cases? You are going to write how many test cases in this scenario? 10 test cases, right? If you have 10 scenarios, then you are going to write 10 methods. And all 10 methods, you are going to pass to different values, and you do assertion and then make sure that, okay, everything is worked fine. Okay, how many you understand this? Okay, let's go back again.
Yeah.
Because no practice, right? That's why nobody else understood.
I did that practice. Yeah.
Yeah, but others, no, right? That's a problem.
If you want to test multiple data, like
let's say I have this add method, okay? So let's say I want to, yes, either you combine, okay? I will give you 2 scenarios. Either you can basically create, let's say test underscore 1, okay, and then you create multiple test case, okay, and then you pass, let's say 1 minus number, and then 2 minus number, and then 1 minus number, okay, and then you 2 positive, 1 positive, 1 negative, 2 negative, 1 0. So you're going to test all these scenarios, okay? So you are going to write multiple test case. So you have written 3 methods. Might be you need 10 methods, or maybe let's say you can write down the same thing in combine, okay? Like you can combine in one test case. That's also fine, but this is not a good way. You are testing 2 scenarios in one test case. That means you are creating unnecessary dependencies. You don't know like which one is good. Okay, so that's not a good idea. Okay, so don't do this because it's a different scenario. But like this is waste of time. Like why should I write 10 test case with the same kind of logic? Then basically we are going to use
data provider.
Data provider. Okay, so let me just show you the example of the data provider.
I think there is an.
Yeah.
I think it's not on Java T point.
Yeah. So did Sagar explain this one? This example?
Yeah, he has it one.
Okay.
Example.
Okay. So now what is data provider? Okay. So let's say I am putting at the data provider. Okay. I'm name it. Okay. What is my data provider name? I can give any name here. And then you are returning that array. I hope that everybody knows array. Array is just a basket. And this is 2-dimensional array. It's not 1-dimensional. It's 2-dimensional array. And you are returning, let's say 2 different data, 20, 30, minus 10, 20. Okay. And this is the method. And then you are basically having data provider name here. You are giving, okay, I want to run this test cases as many times as many data you are providing this array. So if you run this one, you will see here how many test cases run? 2. But actually you have only 1 test case, right? So automatically the framework TestNG will call this test case with 2 different argument, 1 and 2, one time. Second time this second argument, the third time. So it will pass those argument, okay, and to this method, and then we'll consider as 1 test case. Make sense?
Yeah.
So you are running the 1 test case by reusing the code of that by passing the different data, and that's called data driven framework. And data provider is very important aspects that you want to run the one test case, you reuse the code with by passing the different data. You can imagine different scenarios, let's say text, calculate the text, provincial text. Okay, different province wise, different text you are calculating. So you can pass the different province and the text, and then you can write down same code you can use by passing the different data. So make sure like data provider is very, very important topic for us. Okay, any question here in the data provider? See, this complete of the TestNG. Okay, there is one topic for the listener. I'm not sure whether Sagar has covered listener. Has he covered listeners?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, I'll cover later. Okay, that's fine. But listener is another topic. It's very easy topic. But for now, we need to move to the Selenium. Okay. So let's move to the Selenium. Okay, so what is Selenium? Okay, so nowadays everything is web. Okay, we already did HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and then web applications. So API also we have done. So nowadays everything is web application. And then if you want to test any web application, just give me one second, please. Okay, so let's do one thing. Okay, here. So first of all, let's try to understand what is Selenium IDE. Okay, so here there's a topic called Selenium IDE. So let's do this practical example first, and then we'll try to understand what is actually Selenium and why we are going to use the Selenium. So if you see here, okay.
Like ID, remote control, and WebDriver is the component.
Yeah, I'll explain those. So there are different different framework. Okay, so if you see here, different tools. Okay, so you can see like Selenium Suite has IDE, Grid, WebDriver, and RC. There are 4 things you can do the web testing. So first of all, let's try to understand what is web testing is all about. So let me just open. Extensions. Oh, maybe I did not install the extension here. Okay, so let me find out. Okay, we are using Chrome. That's why basically you can search for Selenium ID for Chrome. Let me see here. Oh, yeah. So just search on Google and you will see like add to Chrome, and then just add extension. And so that's fine. So here it was showing me, okay, here ID, okay. So under this one, you will see ID. So it will open one ID. So now I want to basically create a new project, and then let's see, okay, let's say create a new project. Let's say my first Selenium. Okay, so now you're going to add here, okay, so let's say, let me test this website. Okay, so I'll basically like test. We'll follow the steps once we record it. So Okay, let me record this guy. Okay, so you're gonna put the URL here. Okay, so it will open this website. Okay, let's start recording. Okay, maximize. You're gonna choose Ontario. You're gonna put, let's say, 50,000. Okay, calculate. Okay, and then we need to basically validate that. Okay, this salary. Okay, text and everything, some data. Now I want to basically stop this one. I will show you like how to validate this one. Let me stop this and then paste Ontario text. Okay, so now I'm just saving it. Okay, I'm just going to save anywhere, wherever I want. Now I'm just going to, okay, so after that I can put assertion. Okay, there are different commands here, assertion. Okay, so these are the assert. And then I can, what is the target? Okay, here basically these are the different targets you can put, then value and description. Okay, so I'll show you what is my target, and then I can put what is my command. Let's say I want to put assert equals something. So after let's say if you go in this website, okay, so you can find out inspect, and then let's say let me just find out. I'll show you this all we are going to cover in detail. Okay, so don't worry. Okay, so I'm going to locate this row and then this TD. Okay, so copy. Let me copy for full expert. Okay, what was the value? 39. Whatever, okay, I can just put something here. And then I'm saving it again. Okay, so now let me run this guy. Let me just do this. Okay, so let me stop this first and then run it again. Sometimes there is no explicit wait, it is not loaded, so we can put some wait time also, but let me just stop this and just add another step. This is implicit locators are deprecated, so warning. So there are some, this is just a waiting for this locators, but we don't worry about that, we'll fix it. So let me just close first because it was waiting for this one. Run it again. So you see, like now it will, why it's not kill yet. Okay, let me kill it and then this one text was updated. That's fine. Okay, so now let's say if I'm going to run this, okay, so let's see what is happening. You see it's opening the page. What happened? Let's kill everything first. You see, like it does everything automatically. Okay, So right now last stage is failing because it's not loading yet, and then we have to put some explicit wait. Okay, so those topic will cover here because this value is failure. Okay, because it doesn't found this value. Okay, this is an error. Okay, assertion value because it was not founding this value. So we have put this assertion that when I run this, open this page, I put the Ontario, I put 50,000. Then in the output, I should get in this particular table, in this particular column, I want to get this value. Okay, so this is the test case. And then you can see like these, you have write down this test case, and this test case is failure because there was one step is missing. So let me just put here, if I can do explicit wait. Wait for, hopefully it run, otherwise you do not need to worry. Still waiting. It stopped here right now. It's not able to locate this element. Sometimes it's changing. Waiting implicit locators are deprecated. Okay. Anyways, this will learn in the Selenium code. At the end, it will be more clear. So what we are doing, I was trying to do like wait for this element to be visible on the screen. So because it's too fast, so we have to basically wait that once you click and then element is loaded. So otherwise, it will sequentially run the test case. So what we are trying to do is like we are trying. This is IDE. We are doing the manual. So the advantage of this one is that you don't need to do it all the time. Let's say if I tell you to do this testing, let's say I make some code changes and then I will deploy it and I will tell you, okay, now check the same scenario again. And I will tell you to check the same scenario. Let's say there are whatever number of province we have, and then you want to run this every day or every other day, 10 times. You get bored, right? Let's say the same thing you are doing, same thing again and again. And so what you're going to do, you will record this one and then you will just run it. Just start the test suite and same like in the TestNG we are doing. Start it and then automatically it will test and give you the test result. And that's what we are trying to do. So now we are testing the web application. Now we are not doing the code test. Yes, code is also important. So now what is our pyramid? Okay, so if you see our pyramid, so basically our pyramid is like this. So okay, unit, API, okay, API or maybe integration you can say. Okay, and then here UI. And UI is called basically end to end. So here basically we are going to use, here we use JUnit and TestNG. Okay, and here we are going to use rest assure this topic. Okay, in your presentation topic, rest assure Postman. In the Postman also there is a test case. There is another topic. I think Lavi is a topic that, right? Postman test case. How to write the Postman test cases. Second, third one is you can combine in the TestNG. You can write down also the integration test case. Okay, here also maybe some low overlap, but ultimately you might use rest assured inside TestNG. Okay, TestNG plus rest assured, and here Selenium. Okay, so currently we are using this one inside TestNG. Okay, so now let me basically delete this couple of command. Okay, I don't need right now, but I will basically show you later like how to write in Java code. I know it's not getting deleted. Okay, it's okay. So now what is the shortcut? Let's say if I X here, there is a 3 dot. Okay, let me just first run it. And I want to have stop here because it was still waiting. Okay, so just make sure that you click this test here, okay, and then you have 3 dots, and then let's say export. Okay, you have different languages. Okay, let's say you export Java JUnit here, and then click on export, and then you test Ontario text test.java. You just don't put the space. Okay, like sometimes the naming convention is not correct, so you just remove the spaces here. Okay, let me just put on desktop now. Let me open this file. Okay, now you can see here your code is ready. Okay, let's say before, after, and then test case. So what is the Selenium code? This is like kind of cheating. Okay, this is a shortcut, but we are not going to follow this method. Okay, so but if you stuck somewhere, you can do basically like from the IDE, and then basically you can be this is JUnit code. Okay, but everything is not gonna, it's not copy paste in your TestNG. This is JUnit, that's why. Okay, if you see JUnit org JUnit, okay, so these are the JUnit test case, and this is your one test case. What is that? What is your test case? And then now you can do wait, and then you can write here assert some code. Assert, get the value of particular text from the page, and then you can verify it. Okay, everything is correct. So now end to end, you are starting from UI. The likewise you are testing, and then you are make sure that everything is perfectly working fine from the UI. Now you're not, you don't care about what is written the code, what kind of code is written. You are just take care of, okay, what is input, what is output, that's it. How end user is going to use, that's why you call end-to-end testing. Okay, so now what is our aim? Okay, so our aim is to run the code from the TestNG, because there are, okay, so what is Selenium? Okay, Selenium, now let's go back to the Selenium first. Now we will start with the Selenium. So Selenium, you can see like Selenium has like web-based automation testing, web-based. Now we know like what is web-based, and then it supports multiple OS. You can write this kind of code on Mac OS, Windows, anywhere. Then multiple browser. Right now, basically you have Chrome. Tomorrow maybe you can use Firefox. Any browser it will support multiple programming language. You see, like when I was exporting the code, it was having different language: Java, Python, C#. Okay, so there are so many languages that it support. You can write down. Then multiple frameworks you can integrate with the TestNG. You can support open source. Open source means it's free of cost. You can use it anytime, anywhere. So these are the advantage. Okay, so I know like we're going to use Maven, Jenkins, TestNG, JUnit. Okay, so these are the different examples, but our main aim is we are going to use TestNG and Maven and Selenium together. So now basic terminology. Let's move on. Okay, so as I hope that you guys have completed at least the W3 school page initially, whatever I told you guys to read. So in software testing, I think I already opened that page. Yeah, this one, right? So unit testing, integration testing, system testing, user acceptance testing. What is automation testing? In automation testing, basically there are different tools, right? Let's say SOAP UI, Selenium, okay, load runner, okay, and these are the different. Like I hope that like if you haven't completed, please rewind. Okay, this one, because this one is very important. All this testing methodology, automation, manual testing, different type of your functional, non-functional testing. Functional testing is you are testing the functionality. Non-functional, you are testing uh, like performance, different aspects, security, testing, performance testing. So those are comes under non-functional, because you're not testing functionality, you're testing the parameters. So you see like performance, security, and user interface. Okay, these are three part of non-functional testing. The level of testing: unit, integration, system, and acceptance testing. Okay, so here they have given API testing, also automated testing. So these are different kind of things they have given. So in automation, let's say they have given scenario also: login form, registration form. Like say, likewise, we have done Ontario texting. Okay, so you can have different type of testing. So again, come back here. So automation testing. I'm just linking things together now. So here they have given all these things, automation testing. You can have, let's say, for non-functional testing, we are going to cover JMeter. I think that was one of the topic in the presentations. I don't know who is going to do, but there was one of the topic. Then here we are going to do Selenium open source. Okay, so that's automation testing tool, and you are going to combine with the TestNG. So this all, just read the theory, because theory is very important. Feature of the Selenium, they have given all this. Read it. Okay, this theory is must. I'm not going to read it for you. You need to read it for yourself. Limitations. What are the limitations of the Selenium? Read it, those two. Selenium versus QTP. If you don't know QTP, don't worry about this, but this is licensed version for the QTP, but just do the comparison. Sometimes interviewer might ask you why you are not using QTP, why you're using Selenium. So just read those difference. Selenium tool suits. Okay, you have Selenium IDE. Okay, just now we have done IDE. Then Selenium remote control now deprecated, means no longer use. Then WebDriver and grid. So we are going to cover first and third.
So
Okay,
it's a two different framework, right? ID and
two different
WebDriver.
way. Selenium is a
Okay.
framework, but Selenium is giving two different tools to do the automation of the web application.
But
Testing.
they both are doing same thing, right?
You are achieving both the same result, but here and there somewhere you are getting more flexibility or less flexibility is advantage and disadvantage. So nowadays in market, this WebDriver is very popular because it gives you more flexibility in the Java code. Okay, so these are the different suits, and then we are going to use Selenium suite and the WebDriver. Okay, so it's basically kind of merged right now. Okay, Selenium 2.0 and then new improved Selenium 3. So we are going to use Selenium 3. Okay, so IDE, I already just show you the example for the IDE, and then what is Selenium, basically WebDriver. Okay, so you can see like here, they have given kind of, this is different, okay, but the diagram of this one is like, it supports all the, that's what you were asking, right? So driver. So if you're testing against the Chrome, then you have to download the Chrome driver exe. For the Mozilla, you have to download the Firefox exe and Opera. And I know like Sagar has put everything in the group also, that which version you have to download it, right? So make sure the proper version of the Chrome driver you're downloading from the website. Okay, and then if you see Selenium ID, what are the example I was doing? They have given similar kind of example here. Okay, feature, first test case, login test. Also, they have given the recording. Okay, how to do the recording and everything. So just follow the steps. You will basically, they have check at. Okay, so check at, they are checking values. Similar, whatever I was doing, this kind of similar things they have done. Okay, I think in our case maybe I was not doing the scroll down. So you just check it. Okay, like maybe I was missing a couple of steps. So, and then playback, okay, you can just play back and then you can just run all the test case. So they might have used different website and you can use like whatever the website you like. And then they have given login demo. Okay, so, and then different commands. Okay, so they have used, let's say, actions, accessors, assertion. So this open, click. So this with respect to, they have explained with respect to ID. Okay, but I'm not going to focus too much in ID. So make sure that you at least read those, and based on that, we are going to start with the drivers. Our main focus will be WebDriver. Okay, so if you see WebDriver, so let me just preface. Okay, next time we are going to go in detail, but let's see what happens. So let's say you are writing the code in the Java with the TestNG. Let's say the one test case of the TestNG. So what you're going to do? Let's say I want to write the test case which will perform the same thing which I did in the IDE. That you are going to open the browser and go to that page, www. Whatever the websites we have been testing for the calculate the tax. Then in the drop down, you select the Ontario, and then you put the amount 50,000 and click on the button, and then something like this. So whatever you are writing a code here, it will basically go to the browser driver, and driver will talk to the real browser. Okay, because you cannot directly talk as a Java cannot directly talk to the real browser. So but you need something in between, and that's called the driver.
Interpreter.
So, interpreter. So Java will talk to the interpreter and this will talk to the real browser. And that's why you need this driver. Okay, in library, what is the jar file you're downloading, that is required for resolving the compilation error, because that code is written here. Okay, so you have to basically have this one. So this is the architecture. Okay, so just read this theory. Okay, browser driver, and just read this one. So your browser, everything. And if they categorize here, so what are the different kind of commands here they have given? Browser command, navigation command, element command. Okay, so browser command means we will cover in detail, but what are the browser command? let's say you get command. Okay, so let's say driver.get. Get means you are dealing with the browser. You open the browser, you put there some URL. So that those are the browser command. The navigation means you do navigating. Navigating, these are the command. Back, forward. You see, navigating means you go back. Okay, forward. So whatever you can do manually, you should be able to do it using code. So these are the method: back, forward. Okay, so those are the navigation command. Then element command. Element means how you are going to deal with the particular element. So what is element? When you create one text box, that is one element. In text box you want to write, click on the link. So you are basically dealing, send keys is used to write something in the text box. So these are element command. Okay, so we're going to see the element command also. Okay, so 3 types of commands mainly, and you can deal with everything: drop down, radio button, select box. So whatever you have on the web, you can interact with any of the commands, any of the elements through the code. Okay, so that's what we see in the details in the next lecture. And